We didn't talk about the top 100
snubbing. The great snubbing.
I don't even know if we
this
want to
year.
like legitimize that abomination by even discussing it and bringing it up. But I mean, we can, right? In what universe is Patrick Mahomes the fourth best football player? What?
Tyreek too.
Look, the Chiefs is
It's
good.
just funny being Chiefs fans, right? Because like, I mean, you see it. We definitely saw it. We see his greatness. We know his greatness. We've lived his greatness.
Yeah.
We see it on the Dolphins, right? Scott still brings up his yardage and how close he is to Calvin Johnson's record and just how unstoppable that guy is. Exactly. How unstoppable he is.
On the wall right there, man. You know I'm a Cheetah
fan. But as Chiefs fans, we watched him last year. What did he do? Oh, he fumbled the ball over to us and then got completely shut down the 2 times we played us. Exactly. It didn't do much at all. And the 2 guys that shut him down didn't even get a mention on that list. So it's we were talking about like the ESPY awards and the legitimacy of those, right? Like how legitimate is your top 100, right? When everybody's argument is like, oh, it's voted on by the players from November to April, but then Aaron Rodgers makes the list. Like, oh, really? The guy that played 4 snaps pre-November makes the top 100. Okay. So the prestigiousness of it all just kind of
never underestimate
came down a couple notches.
Never underestimate the power of jealousy. Stinky cologne.
You know who was the most mad about that snubbing, right?
Who's that?
Lamar Jackson. He's like, I gotta play that dude the first game of the season.
Right? Yeah.
That dude's gonna be counting on his fingers.
Why are you
again?
Again.
Yeah. It's not even me.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, Tyreek Hill. I got no. He's a top 3 player. I mean, I see Tyreek Hill at 3. He's just not one, man. I just don't know what. And there were some people that were making jokes, and he even responded back to him. There was like, "Yeah, he's the number 1 player that has the most kids in the NFL," or he's like the number 1 player at this.
He was taking on all comers, wasn't he?
Right. Yeah, he was. He was kind of had some back and forths with some randos there on social media that were kind of clowning him a little bit, but yeah, obviously Patrick Mahomes is the best football player. And it was funny. There were some videos of people trying to say why it wasn't an abomination that he was 4th, and other people in the sets were like, "What are you talking about? Like, come on, man. You know he's the best player." Even the players that didn't vote him as the best player know he's the best player, right? I mean, it's got to be jealousy or fatigue of getting your ass whipped by Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, or spite, just pure spite.
Pure spite,
Chase style.
Just being a hater, right?
I'm not even put him on the list.
Right.
Whatever was the reason behind it, it makes me so happy because, like, now he doesn't even.
Fire.
Yeah, exactly. It's just because we talked about it with the ESPYs, right? I'm like, if our guy wins, like, cool, but if he doesn't win, like, I don't really like get that emotionally invested in it, right? I mean, who cares? Like he won the contest that mattered, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Like, the only contest that really mattered, like they won last year, so and they've won it 3 out of the last 5 years.
The
so
year before that,
I mean, I'm not losing. Look, I'm not losing sleep over it, but it's still. I mean, it's
so
still,
I am. My takeaway was just extra motivation is so good. Like, I mean, it's like first it was Vegas coming out and saying San Francisco had the best odds after the Super Bowl, and then it was the Kermit the Frog Mahomes doll at Raiders camp, and now it's number 4 on the list, and I'm just like, man, they just really want the Chiefs to three-peat. It's like the universe wants the Chiefs to have the motivation to go and three-peat, and it just makes me so happy.
They just can't leave it alone, right? I feel like that actually might be our kryptonite, is if you were to give us our flowers and respect. I'm like, oh, watch out for the Chiefs. They're going to roll over everybody. And then like, oh, build their confidence up a little too much. But no, everybody wants to put that right back on the shoulder.
This might be a movie you guys are going to make fun of me, but Stephanie, my wife, she watches that Pitch Perfect movie a few times a year. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Can't say that I have.
Well, there's this guy in the movie, and they're like, it's the whole movie's like leading up to this big competition, right? And at the end, like this guy's got like, he's like, oh, I got like, I'm gonna be, he gets like some other job making a bunch of money. And they're like, yeah, but what about the big competition? He's like, I won that shit like 100 times. I'm like, and So how I think Patrick probably is like when they're like, you're number 4, he's like, I don't even care. I already won that shit.
Yeah, no, I think Patrick Mahomes wants to be number 1.
He's got people disrespecting him, right? And he's like, all right.
It was funny too. We put out there on our X account was like, Patrick Mahomes didn't acknowledge it this time. If you recall, the last time he was number 4 behind Lamar Jackson and some other ridiculous people ahead of him, he like tweeted out the little notepad emoji, right? He didn't say nothing, and I got to thinking about that during the next day or so, and I was thinking, man, the league should be more scared probably that he didn't say anything about it this time, right? I don't know. If he's not 1, he's got to be at least number 2, and he's not number 2. The guy has got to be number 1. You know, we're talking about this too, like Travis Kelce at 9 behind Trent Williams and some of these other guys. Right. There wasn't a whole lot of talk about that. I guarantee you that. Snubbing as well. I guarantee you that caught Travis Kelce's attention, and that's fueling a little of his fire. I guarantee it this year. It wasn't as big. It was not as big a deal, and it was not kind of like talked about as much as Patrick Mahomes being 4. But there's 2 or 3 or 4 guys ahead of Travis Kelce there in that top 8. That no,
I mean, you called it. You had Jones in front of Kelce. I was a little shocked at that right there.
I knew, like I said, he missed the time with the injury earlier last year. He didn't get 1,000 yards. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying there's any Jones shine off the dude like that he's like missing out or whatever, but yeah, Jones played though in the last game. Travis Kelce missed 2 games last year, right?
He did.
Look,
missed. I mean, they didn't play him in the last game.
Chris Jones is in the conversation.
Sure.
But the best defensive player in the NFL. So, I expected that Chris Jones was going to be ranked ahead of Travis Kelce. I'm not saying that that's right. Again, I think that's going to be some bulletin board material for Travis Kelce for TMFK. They light a little fire under him. How crazy is it? We put this out on X too. So you had Patrick Mahomes at 4, who should have been 1. You had Chris Jones checked in at, what was he at, number 6?
Yeah.
You had Travis Kelce
at 6.
Yeah, you had Travis Kelce at 9, who easily could have been higher. You had Tyreek Hill at 1. You could make an argument for all of those guys being in the top 5, right? And they were all on the Chiefs a couple of years ago. How fucking crazy is that? I mean,
all drafted by the Chiefs.
Right. Chiefs drafted and had 4 of the top 5 or 6 or 7 players in the NFL all in the same time on their team.
And they got rid of the number 1 guy, and they won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Embarrassment of riches for the Chiefs on the field. I'm not sure which post that is. I can't read the.
Oh, it's the one you're talking about.
Because you can make a legit argument. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and Tyreek Hill are top 5 players in the NFL, and they were all on the Chiefs at one time. Yeah,
And Kareem Hunt in his prime, when he was leading the league in rushing, was on that team too with them guys. Like, man, it's the amount of talent and the players and the Chiefs have acquired and brought in and built this dynasty around is